From Day to Durocher to Jenson, it's Double Play with Durocher and Day. With their guest, Jackie Jenson, here's another chapter of Double Play with Durocher and Day. Welcome to another visit with baseball's most exciting and controversial couple, Laraine Day and Leo Durocher, with their guest for today, Jackie Jenson, famous American League outfielder and college football star. And now, Leo Durocher, can you add anything to that?
Jackie Jenson was the All-America football player with Southern California, too.
Southern Cal? I'll punch you in the nose.
Wait a minute. That's no way to start the show. You two should have a lot in common. You both have been traded from the Yankees, and you both are married to famous women. Well, while they're straightening it out, we'd like to bring you this message. And now back to Double Play with Leo Durocher and Laraine Day, and their guest for today, Jackie Jenson.
It's a little different than that baseball, isn't it, Jackie?
Well, I wish it looked about this size when it came in.
You do pretty good with it, though.
Hey, you two, what's with the football? Don't you know the Double Play is supposed to be a baseball program? Friends, this is Jackie Jenson, the star outfielder of the Washington Senators.
Yes, and don't forget, he also played the Rose Bowl, and he was a great player.
Well, this is a baseball program, and I'm here to see that we talk about baseball, so let's get to it. Jackie, why didn't you try pitching when Casey Stengel asked you to in 1951?
Well, I'd like to have made a pitcher with the Yankees, but at the time that he asked me to try pitching, he thought, or was under the impression that I'd been playing ball all winter at home, and we had sort of a miserable winter up in Northern California, and we had a lot of games rained out, and consequently we only played about 4 during the whole fall. And when I came down to pre-spring training, he thought my arm was in good shape and good enough to throw the ball, and I was alternating in the outfield and then pitching, and Leo knows it's a little tough on a pitcher to be able to throw that long throw and then the short throw of the 90 feet. I just found I didn't have anything, and so when I played in the inter-squad games, I got my head belted off, and that was the end of my pitching career.
It takes pitchers, the ones that we have on the Giants and most every club. You go to spring training, it takes at least 2 weeks before they can start to throw the ball for an inning or 2 innings in inter-squad games. And to take a fella and play him in the outfield and have him pitch also, that's a thing that I think requires maybe 4 or 5 weeks to get him in real good condition.
It seems to me that Stan Musial told me he pitched and then he'd play the outfield for 3 days and then come in and pitch on the 4th day.
Well, that's how he hurt his arm, at Daytona Beach, Florida. And he was quite a left-handed pitcher, and he hurt his arm. It was damp and cold down there, and he went out the next day and played the outfield, made a throw, and something snapped in his arm, and he never was able to throw after that. And that's his reason for going into the outfield altogether.
Well, here's a letter. Here's a letter from your part of the country, Berkeley, California. It says, the question in it, must be a fan of yours. He says, if you ever have Jackie Jenson on your show, I would like to have you ask him how he felt when the Yankees traded him.
Well, I don't think any ball player that has spent any time with the New York Yankees would enjoy the feeling that he's been traded out of the organization. I found that it's a fine organization, great men, swell bunch of players. And of course, I was sorry to leave it, but as things have turned out, I knew I'd get a chance to make the regular ball club a little easier than the New York Yankees. I've been playing regularly now, and I think that's one of the biggest breaks possibly in my baseball career. Maybe I could give Casey a hug for it, in fact. Because perhaps he's given me the chance to make some money in baseball and make a livelihood out of it, where I was more or less floundering with the Yankees, and they were undecided. And it shows on a ball player's presence on the ball club when he isn't set and he's worrying about something. And I know darn well I was having many sleepless nights.
Well, I agree with you there, Jackie, because I have players on my ball club that, since I've been a manager, that I've traded, and they always hate to leave. But the way I point things out to them, that it may be all for the better. That they go to another club, put on a new uniform, a different group of boys, and they start fresh, a chance to play regular, a chance to make more money. And I think all trades like that always turn out for the best for the player.
Well, you were both traded from the Yankees.
Well,
how did you feel when you were traded from the Yankees?
Well, I was just going to bring that up. You always hate to leave the club that you're with, naturally. And I know when I was traded from the Yankees, I was traded real quick. And I can't tell the good folks here on this program what transpired in the conversation between Mr. Ed Barrow of the Yankees and myself. but I was holding out for a little more money.
$1,000.
$1,000 was the difference, and Mr. Barrow, I never will forget it. He's a wonderful man and a great baseball man. I was just a kid at that time, and $1,000 was all the money in the world to me, and I wanted to get it. And I made a remark. I just can't repeat the word, but as I got to the door, Mr. Barrow wheeled around in his swivel chair from the desk, and he said, "What did you say?" And I said, "Did you hear me?" And he says, "I think I did." Well, I said, "It still goes." And he said, "And so do you." And I closed the door, and the next morning at 9 o'clock, I was the property of the Cincinnati Ball Club in the National League. So that's how I was traded from the Yankees, Jackie, real quick.
Mine wasn't quite that fast.
Oh, I was gone. I never got a chance to argue any more about $1,000.
Well, did you know you were going to be traded? Had you received any warning whatsoever?
Well, the only warning I had was on the way down to spring training. I stopped off in Reno with my wife, and I got a phone call from San Francisco, long distance, and said, "Hey, do you know that you and Billy Martin have been traded to the Washington Senators?" And I said, "Is that right?" I said, "I'm glad they told me which camp to report to." And he said, "Well, it isn't official, but it looks like it's going through." And so I proceeded on my journey down to Florida, but they hadn't made the trade because I guess they didn't like the publicity it had set up, so they put it off a little longer and a little longer. My name had been mentioned so many times that I guess it made me a little calloused. And by the time I did find out that I was traded, it didn't give me the shock that perhaps that first.
There was an awful lot of publicity about it, Jackie. I remember reading in the papers that there was a question of whether you would go and Martin would go or who would go, and you just couldn't get enough players in the deal or something. I don't know what it was about, but I know that there was an awful lot of controversy about it.
Well, I hope that answers George Stacy's question. Let's go on to our next one. It says, I follow baseball and also football very closely. It has been my observation that football usually hampers a baseball career. Do you agree? And it's signed Jesse T. Rogers, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, Jesse, let's ask the football player. Do you think that football hampers a baseball career?
No, I really don't. I think I picked up a few things from football that I wouldn't have benefited from. I think one thing was possibly a tip-off on how to steal a base, which is a big thing. And, of course, my present coach, Clyde Milan, he called Deerfoot, stole 86 bases.
Great.
Made Ty Cobb mad, so he stole 96 the next year. But he's been telling me a lot of fine things also. But one thing I learned in football was one way of getting the jump on a pitcher by just using the feet so that you're in full stride by the time you've taken your first or second step. Whereas a lot of your base runners now they aren't in full stride until their fourth or fifth step, and that extra little yardage is just enough so the catcher can get the ball and get you out at second base. I think the only thing that possibly football would hamper your ability in baseball is that it might tighten up your shoulders, and I think a lot of the young ball players, and myself even, have shown on the first year or so in baseball, before you stay away from the football pads and the bangs with the shoulder, the high fastball, you can't quite get up to it.
When you're young, if you come right out of school and you go right into baseball, I don't think it's going to affect you too much unless you've taken a terrific pounding as a college player.
What do you mean it makes something about your shoulders? You said it makes your shoulders.
Well, everything in football is body contact, of course, something which we try to stay away from in baseball, but once in a while run into. But everything's done with the shoulders, and naturally you're going to build up those big shoulder muscles and the neck muscles. And with a bat, those shoulder muscles sort of prohibit you getting up and hitting that high.
Make it muscle bound and can't hit the high fast one. That's what he means if you stay there too long.
Klazewski.
Well, it bothers him sometimes.
Jackie Robinson.
Well, now, I don't mind saying right now that if you throw Ted Klazewski a low fast one, and I mean one about 6-8 inches off the ground, he'll really hit it like a golf ball. But if you can get the ball up and in, like Jackie's just telling you, he can't get the bat on it.
The same with Robinson.
Well, I don't know whether it's the shoulders or what it is, but let's not talk about Robinson. He's a pretty good hitter.
Well, excuse me, before we go into this anymore, I think it's just about time that we let our sponsor get in a few words.
And now back to Double Play with Durocher and Day.
They always ask about football players coming into baseball. Don't we have any great basketball players that have ever come into baseball?
Oh, I had one at Brooklyn, Howie Schultz. Remember him? He played with Hamlin, I believe, out of Minnesota, and he was an All-American basketball player, but he just couldn't play baseball well enough to stay in the major leagues.
But is he the only one? I mean, we don't have any outstanding
No, there are.
They're with the Yankees right now. Press 2 playing with them that have made their all-conference ball clubs in Bob Serve, a rookie up, and from Nebraska, University of Nebraska, and Irv Noren. They're both very fine basketball players.
Well, I guess that just about finishes all our questions for today from our fans that we can ask Jackie.
Well, I want to ask Jackie a few questions. You know, I've been needled quite a bit around here about being married to you, that the motion picture actress, and how is it like, and I should say ex-motion picture actress. Your wife is just one of the outstanding divers and swimmers in the country. Now, is there any trouble, Jackie, in your family in relationship to her sport and your sport?
Only that we don't get to see each other very often. Her trips seem to go right on the same time that I'm just getting off of a road trip.
And she's leaving to go somewhere on a tour.
I think we figured it out that we'll see each other in 3 months this year. And
oh,
doesn't seem very much.
Is terrible.
We've only been married nearly 3 years now, and I can't say that we've been together more than a year and a half, I guess, in all that time. It's tough, but I think the fans get on me a little bit about that, too. I don't know whether they get on you. Oh, Mr. Olson, how's your train seal? And
well, you see, now you get to sit down. I'm glad.
That's the time I'm ready to go, boy.
I'm glad I brought that up. Well, they've been giving it to me for the last few years around here, Jackie, about being married to Laraine and everything, and they always call me. I get on the coaching lines in the western cities especially, and they all holler, Mr. Day, oh, Mr. Day. Well, I'm like you are. I get burned up, but of course you just got to go along and take it.
Right.
Well, I tell you, maybe your wife can arrange a trip for you later on where in the wintertime when she'll go to Europe and you'll be able to take a trip with her.
That'd be nice.
Well, we could go on forever talking about this being married to women who have names of their own or have professions, but we just haven't got the time. We're going to have to sign off and thank you for being with us and thank Jackie Jenson for coming over, and we'll see you same time, same station. Okay? So long.
You've been listening to another chapter of Double Play with baseball's most exciting couple, Laraine Day and Leo Durocher. Today, Laraine and Leo had as their guest Jackie Jenson. Join us when again it's time for Double Play with Leo Durocher and Laraine Day, plus another big-time guest star. Double Play is produced and directed by Ted Neeland and is a Marquette production.